All right, welcome to another edition of the Film Room. Billy Jones and Ryan Schmadtke. Ryan, how are you?
Doing good, Billy. How are you?
Doing well. Did you enjoy the game Saturday?
I had a blast. It was,
Yeah.
always a good time to see the Tigers have a nice little, maybe not a beat down, but a Tigers win nonetheless. So, got to be happy about it.
Yeah, fun atmosphere for sure, but definitely some stuff to improve on. And I don't know about you, but there were a couple plays where you just have to take a moment to appreciate how good Luther Burden is. And I don't know if this is something Brady's seeing pre-snap with these man-to-man coverages, but boy, we'll just run this real quick. Just to start this off
Yeah,
on a
well,
light note before we get into what kind of went wrong.
yeah, we'll start with the positives, Billy. You're talking about, let's watch him break some of these tackles. Love to see it. Maybe not great tackling, but you're saying maybe did Brady see man? I think he definitely sees man on this play. Just based on the route they're running, they wanted to catch him in man. They catch him in man. But if you're looking at, I think this is Theo Weiss up top here. You can see my cursor, right? Real good.
Yeah, we got you.
So Theo Weiss right here, he's basically attacking Luther Burns' man. He's not getting the ball in this play. He's a sacrificial lamb, Billy. I'll let it play for a little bit longer. You see him kind of attack his man there. He doesn't really make too much contact with him. But they're running this play to get Luther the ball. I think on the back side of this play, too, you also kind of see a similar route where the tight ends got to kind of attack both the defenders, letting another guy get under. So they knew they were in man. They got their best athlete the ball, makes a couple guys miss. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, and I mean that was one of the two biggest plays of the game. The other that third down late in the ball game, and where did they go? They went to Luther on the out route. So that was really the tour de force for the offense. Would have loved to see him run the ball better in the second half, but we'll talk about a big play for Missouri defensively that cost them in that second half.
Yeah, we will, Billy. Some good offense from Missouri. Listened a little bit to Drinkowitz's post-game press conference. He mentioned that I think that being Corey Batoon, the defensive
Yeah.
coordinator, was disappointed in the way his guys played, or maybe the way he schemed out the game or whatnot. I think that's fair as a defensive coordinator. You go back and you watch this game. Missouri played well, but had a couple important busts, or I guess important for BC if you look at it that way. But a couple crucial busts. They really they could have gotten a shutout, should have allowed not that many points. That first drive, you have those two penalties. Second drive, have a bust on the fumbled snap. Sure all the Missouri fans watching that game remember that play where the ball went over Castellano's head. No one was covering downfield. Drinkwood said there's no excuse for that. He said we were in a zone. I don't know why guys are running up the field. Important teaching point for a defensive back, Billy. Anytime there's a fumbled snap, whatnot, that doesn't change your role at all. You should not. People kind of think once the ball's fumbled, it's a free for all. It's not a free for all. You got to stay in your zone. He said no excuses on that, Billy.
Right.
And yeah, I think this might be the bust late in the game that allows the touchdown. Yep. Another one of those where Drinkwood said in that press conference, no excuse. I think were the exact words he said. He said, we're in cover 3 on this play, and let's walk through that. Cover 3, as we talked about, Billy, they actually played a lot of cover 3 this game. Missouri, we talked about in pregame in our last session. We want to play a lot of cover 1, whatnot. We like our athletes. And they did that a lot on third down. We'll get to that later. They brought that speed package in, played a quarterback spy, played cover 1. But they also played a lot of cover 3 to mix it up with Castellanos. I think you do that a lot of times with the running quarterback because you don't want all your eyes downfield. If I'm a DB and I'm playing man, I'm looking at my receiver. I'm really taught not to look back at the ball, always to look at the receiver. Whereas in zone, I've kind of got my eyes on everything, got my eyes on the quarterback. So if for some reason this quarterback breaks contain, we're playing cover 3. My flat guys, my hook guys will make the play.
Yeah.
This play, Billy, not an efficient cover 3. Here's your deep third here. This is a deep third here. Really, if I'm teaching this guy here, I want him a little bit closer to this hash. He's doing a good job getting in the middle of the field, but we've got 3 receivers over here and only 2 over here. And it's a much harder throw anything over here versus over here. I think he should be cheating over a little bit and seeing the quarterback looking over here. This is a good time to, if I'm a DB, weave back and forth, keep my eyes on the quarterback. But regardless, he's doing his job. I think it's this cornerback not doing his job here, right here, Billy, because this safety, if we go pre-snap, let it play a little bit. He's stepping up into his hole. He's going to be the hook curl guy here. This guy right here is going to be your curl flat guy. And you can see, Billy, these both these curl flats guys. This is why I say he's the curl flat guy, because he's taught, well, he's the outside guy, but he's taught to sail that, get his butt to the sideline, be able to high low a curl, drive down on a flat, whatnot. He should really be closer to the sideline. But I think it's this cornerback's fault right here. Now, I don't know if it was not getting that call or just bad technique. A lot of time when you're a cornerback, it's easy to get locked in on the one to your side. And I say the one being the outside most receiver.
Yeah.
Easy to get locked in on the one to your side, kind of forget about everything else going on. But really, he's got these 18 yards. I think that maybe it's 17. I can't remember exactly what it is right here. But from hash to hash, any deep ball thrown in that territory is his responsibility. That's where the ball goes. Corner out. If he's doing his job, might be a pick, but not doing his job. Touchdown, Boston College. As Drinkwitz said, inexcusable. So,
yeah, second time that happened in the ball game. I don't think we have it in here, but there's a 3rd and 7 earlier in the first quarter. This might be it again with Nick DeLoach playing that corner spot on the left side. He's a freshman. I think that's slide 7. And you kind of get your question to, who's going to be the second corner for Missouri, because, the first touchdown Boston College scored was, there was definitely a little contact between Toriano Pride and that receiver, but on that 4th down play, I think you got to fight through the contact and make the play. So we'll see who can step up at that spot for Missouri. Here's the other play I was talking about with Nick DeLoach.
Yeah, it's interesting you said, Billy, because Drink also mentioned that we learned a lot about our guys this game, which hopefully that's a positive thing. As a player, sometimes I hear that, I'm like, oh, he's probably saying that he learned a couple bad things about a couple guys. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what that means going forward for that position. Billy, just pre-snap watching on this play. If any viewers watching, I play safety. I've been in this guy's spot a couple times before where you can watch. He's trying to communicate. He is mad, Billy. They're not ready for this play. We talked in our last film session about that motion, how that, is Missouri going to be ready to adjust to that, or are they going to have to try to communicate on the fly? All these guys, he's trying to communicate. He's locked in on his guy. He's not getting the call. They're all freaking out. Bang, ball snap. They all just go do something. Holes wide open. First down. That one hurts a lot, Billy, because, he's pumped. These guys are pumped. Oh, I made a good play. Sorry for that. But, yeah, you didn't really – good catch, whatever. Got the yards you need. You did your job. But that's all on the defense, Billy. They didn't do a good job here.
Yeah, and literally the next play is that, fumble over Castellano's head and a score. Every drive that Boston College scored in this game, Missouri had a 3rd and 10 or longer where they could have gotten off the field and for whatever reason couldn't do it. Did this look like, a case where it's a combo coverage, or is this as simple as 24, who's the top corner sitting there at the hash, the 24-yard line, just kicking out and taking that other receiver?
Yeah, we talked about that some last week, that combo coverage where you're playing zone to one side, kind of locking down a corner on this side. I will say, looking to the boundary here, undoubtedly cover 2. This cornerback is funneling him in to, if you can see at the beginning of the field, this safety is getting to his deep half. This guy's your hook defender, your slant defender, whatnot. They're playing cover 2 down here. I think we've got a 3-man rush for the QB spy. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But on the top side, Billy, he is locked on this guy. At least he thinks he is. But these other guys look to be playing some sort of zone. I think that's really the problem there. I think maybe before the motion and whatnot, they may have wanted him locked onto this guy. Motion happens, maybe they don't want that anymore. I'm not too sure what they're doing up here. I know they're playing some sort of cover 2 down here. Up here, not too sure. And that's always a bad feeling, Billy.
Yeah. If you can't even see where the error was, that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah, well, they're gonna know what's wrong. But when we're watching film on a Sunday and a coach asks, "What are we even in right here?" Someone's not doing their job. You don't really want to hear that. You got some explaining to do to the coaches in that film room. Someone here is going to have to do some explaining. Maybe it's this guy for not really listening, but
that's Toriano Pride, who was in man, and then some combination of of who's that? Sidney Williams, Nick DeLoach, and Joseph Charleston in zone.
Yeah, it's comforting for me to see this sort of. I've totally been there before, Billy. It's kind of funny, if you're a Missouri fan, maybe not too funny, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's the miscommunication. We just went over two pretty big busts there, and like we said, that play right after that is another bust. That's 14 points basically given up off of 3 plays where you're not doing your job. You're not. The offense didn't do anything there. That wasn't Boston College. That was Missouri playing bad defense.
Yeah, we'll hit this last play really quickly, and then just maybe a general conversation about how we thought Missouri did in that third and obvious passing because going into the game, I really felt like that was a down Missouri was going to win, and Missouri kind of dominated standard downs, but when it came to plays like this, just couldn't do what they needed to do.
Yeah, it was interesting, Billy. We saw a lot of times later in the game. I think we saw them bring out the speed package, which I think that's what Missouri's in right here.
Right.
Basically telling you we're going to play cover one, send 4-5. Your athletes are not going to get open on our guys because we're Missouri and we're going to lock you down. They had later in the game, I thought they did good at that. But yeah, in the beginning, Billy, I guess this is a later one, but we talked about that QB spy play. This is tough because you've got a QB spy on this play, and he's still getting 5 yards. It's 3rd and 6, so I guess you keep him short. But and yeah, we
They
can see
picked it
Billy
up on the
man
next
eyes.
play. Yeah.
Yeah, outside leverage. We talked about this last week where this guy's on an island, so he's going to play inside leverage. But all these guys over here pretty much trying to fall into that deep safety. You can't see him here. We're sending 4, goes back. This guy's your QB spy. Just trying to get the quarterback down. And I think Billy, this is tough on the quarterback spot. When I'm watching this play, I mean, look at all this space he has right here. This is the field side. We'll rewind a little bit. That's the field side defensive tackle right there, and he ends up on this side of the center.
Right. He should be funneling him. He should be funneling him to the boundary side, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the coaching point on this one, Billy, from the defensive line coach or Corey Batoon in that film room is going to be, you should be staying on your side, staying in your gap. Because right here, Billy, this is, if I'm the QB spy, I'm seeing this gap too. And then he's going to pop out from his side right into this gap.
Yeah.
Now I've got a longer play to make.
And you can see Khalil, who's the linebacker spy in that play, kind of cheating through that boundary side, and then has to go try and chase down Castellano. It's going to be a big test for Missouri again this week with another athletic quarterback. We'll see if they handle those third downs a little better. But
yeah, exactly,
that,
Billy.
Yeah, I was going to say let's take a look. Do you have any more thoughts before we talk about what Vanderbilt might try and attack them with in that run game?
Yeah, I guess just finishing up on Missouri. I mean, anytime you beat a ranked team and you come out of there, if you're Drinkowitz saying, we have a lot to improve on, I feel like that's kind of a positive. Because, I mean, on one hand, you do have a lot to improve on, and you do need to get it figured out, and you need to fix it. But at the same time, you show that you've got the players and you've got the explosiveness to still win a game when you're clearly not at your best. So, I mean, Missouri definitely has the potential to do a lot of great things this season. I mean, ranked top 10, people are already thinking that. But, yeah, that's a big win, not looking at your best. So I think they got the potential to, be really great. I think it's a good thing that they have a lot to, there's a lot of coaches say, you'd rather learn in a win than a loss. I mean, if we can get away with winning that game and still learn a lot from it, kind of a win-win, I guess.
Absolutely.
To the Vanderbilt offense. So, based on our notes, Billy, we saw that Vandy's going to be in 12 personnel 40% of the time. For you all that don't know, 12 personnel basically means you got one running back, the one for the 12, 2 tight ends in the game. So that means you only got 2 wide receivers in the game. In the modern day, you don't see that too much. Missouri, for example, likes to spread it out. A lot of times you'll see 3 or 4 wide receivers on the field at once. And then we said Vanderbilt is running at 60% of the time that they're in that 12 personnel. So like we see, they're telling you a lot of times what they're going to do. We had a little bit of technical difficulty showing you another read option that they do, but they love the read option, Billy. That's where the quarterback is reading the defensive end. He can either hand the ball off to a running back, pull it himself. And they're doing that, Billy, because we got a new quarterback in Diego Pavia from New Mexico State, if I'm not
That's correct.
mistaken? Is he the
That's correct.
the Mountain West is out there in?
I
Right?
think they're in Conference USA.
Conference USA. Okay, I think he was a conference offensive player of the year last season. We were watching some of that first Vanderbilt Virginia Tech game. He looked pretty electrifying in that game, Billy.
Yeah.
We're from Nashville. We've seen Vandy football for a long time. Not a lot of times you see an electrifying quarterback at that
Might
position.
be might be the best quarterback they've had, I'd say, since maybe Jordan Rodgers.
Yeah, or even Jay Cutler, Billy. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows?
Oof. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, Vanderbilt, they're not Boston College, we think, but they still got potential, Billy. Coming off of a really bad loss, um, I can promise you their practices this week are going to be a lot more tuned in, a lot more serious. Missouri's coming off a big win. They still got a lot to correct. I don't think they're going to let up either, but potential trap game. But sorry, we're talking too much about that. Let's get to the film. What also comes off of the read option is a different kind of read, an RPO, a run pass option. We're seeing Vandy pull this off here. Right now, Diego Pavia, the quarterback, instead of reading a DN, which he normally does, this tight end's going to come block him. Actually reading, I think he's reading this safety or this linebacker right here. I'm not 100% sure which one. But he's basically reading the defense of a player. If he's going to come up this safety, I think pre-snap, I had in my notes. Yeah, I'm not sure which one of these guys is technically the outside linebacker, which one's technically the safety. A lot of times when a team is only splitting out one receiver, you're going to bring in more kind of strong safety linebacker type guys and load the box as they do here. But pre-snap, Billy, on this side of the field where the receiver is, you don't have anyone past 5 yards. You really don't have any safety help in the middle here. I bet you he's thinking pre-snap, I'm going to throw this ball, and the only reason I'm not going to is if one of these guys is baiting me, ends up backing up. We'll let it play. But yeah, Billy, RPO, you're just reading the defense. He sees these guys come up. This cornerback's playing off. He's inside leverage, but he's playing off. Fits the throw right in there. It's a good play call, Billy. And when it beats, we saw Missouri play a lot of cover one and a lot of cover three. That glance post is a tough route to guard there because while in theory, we talk about in cover three or whatnot, cover one, you got a post safety, right? This ball is being completed 11 yards, maybe 12. That's kind of the hole in cover three, Billy. If you can fit it in there a little bit behind the linebackers, that cornerback is thinking that my guy's running to help safety. A lot of times that's where I'm trying to funnel him, or if I'm playing cover three, I'm eventually just letting him run to the safety because I got to worry about other stuff on my half of the field. So Billy, when I'll say at our WashU practices, whenever we install cover three, the offense installs these glance post RPOs, and it's very frustrating. Because Billy, it doesn't really happen on this play, but you'll be a safety right here, and then you're rolling into the third, and then bang, the ball is completed right where you ran away from. It doesn't really make sense to run away from the ball. But yeah, this is a good play for Vandy. In general, a lot of options, read options, RPOs. If Pavia knows what he's doing, Billy, I mean, that's an efficient way to move the ball down the field. We'll see how Missouri's defense responds. We talked about Missouri coming out in that speed package a lot. Don't know if you'll see that a lot against a Vandy team that loves 12 personnel so much. So we'll see if Missouri's bigger guys, those linebackers can step up and, if the cornerbacks and whatnot can step up in the run game. So
yeah,
we'll see what that leads to, Billy.
I mean, Missouri's been so good against the run. We'll see if Vanderbilt's finally the team that can make some inroads. Talking about this Vanderbilt defense, Clark Lee takes over as the defensive coordinator. One thing I've noticed, they've had some issues. They like to get very aggressive on third down, which might be an issue when they play Missouri. But I wanted to point to a couple plays where I thought he did a really good job of disguising, and we'll see if Brady does a good job of recognizing it.
Billy, that's the exact word, disguise. Let's talk about it here. If we're seeing this play pre-snap, if I'm Brady Cook, Billy, what am I seeing?
You're seeing man.
Yeah,
probably
you're seeing
cover
man.
200, yeah.
Yeah, well, really what you're seeing, it does look like man, yep. And really you're seeing two high safeties. So that a lot of times, teams will line up at two high safeties, play quarters. Like you said, yeah, you're kind of seeing that 2 men under from NCAA football or whatnot, where these two guys got the blue zones. these guys are doing a good job looking at their receivers. He's looking at the running back or the quarterback, whatnot. Yeah, he's thinking cover two man. Not anymore, Billy. What do we see now?
I mean, it looks like some sort of cover three, right?
Yeah, Billy, you got this safety bound to the third. These cornerbacks, you can tell they're bailing to their third, Billy, because they got their butts to the sideline. They're trying to get depth. And then also, if you're the quarterback here, you're seeing a linebacker come here. It's almost a form of simulated pressure, Billy, because you've already got four guys down on the line. Now, if I'm a quarterback, he's probably seeing that fifth guy coming and thinking, all right, I got to get it out of here quickly. But however, as we see this guy right here, you think he's coming? No, he's not. I'm getting out to the flat. That's my zone drop. Bang, there's the play. So, yeah, like you said, Billy, college quarterbacks just developing and, learning how to read coverage. A lot of these guys in high school were, really good athletes, could just kind of run around like Patrick Mahomes or whatnot, make plays. Then in college, start to develop learning coverages. Brady Cook showed a great job in that game, or showed what he knew in that game against Boston College, figured out when they were in man. And Boston College, basically, we talked about their offense telling you what they're going to do. Their defense would tell you what they're going to do a lot. Line up and cover one. They knew how to attack it. Disguise is the word of the week for Vanderbilt's defense, Billy. If they can successfully disguise, showing some sort of man, and then you have a flat player actually, because if you're in man here, a lot of times you're thinking, I'm just going to throw Luther Burn on an out route, clear this guy out, whatnot. All of a sudden, this cornerback, here they're playing cover three, but, all of a sudden this cornerback's really a flat player playing some type of zone. That's where you get interceptions, Billy. You disguise, you bait the wrong throw. Hopefully Brady Cook can see past that, pick up on some tendencies to prevent that. So we'll see what Vandy can do about it. Yep, and then let's see. I think we got a little more clip here for you. Now this one, we'll talk about a pre-play. The cornerbacks are playing a little bit differently, but Billy, if I'm a quarterback, I'm seeing the same thing again, right? You seeing what I'm seeing?
Right, some sort of quarters.
Yeah, you're seeing two high safeties, and so on that last play we showed you, this is basically the exact same look from the safeties. One guy came down, one guy went up. Now Vanderbilt's actually playing a split coverage with two high safeties. I think that, we talked about it some last week, that cover two read, where I think we pause it right here. This cornerback, this safety are reading number two. If they both go vertical, I'm taking him. Right now, you can see him looking at him. Two goes out. I'm getting my eyes to him. I'm getting my eyes to the original number one, new number two. Up here, playing more of a true. I guess it's kind of. I think they're playing the same thing up here, actually, Billy. Just a little bit further off because you're to the field. You have more time to drive on it. The one goes under. So now these two guys are gonna vice this guy here. He's gonna squeeze in with him, our overhang player, until he gets to the mic. Good job by Langston Patterson here. Actually gets a run read here, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, seeing that pitch, but that's his responsibility ultimately when you're playing that two read. If you're going to lock these two guys on here, you're going to need a linebacker to carry a two out to the flat, or a three, the running back, whatnot. They execute this play well. Another time, doesn't get a tackle, but force him back into his help. Ends up being a 5-yard gain. But if you make a tackle, it's a loss. If you're a quarterback, I think you like man a lot more. If I'm Brady Cook, I can promise you when I'm playing the college football game, I'd rather go against man because, you don't have that guy that you didn't see out of nowhere come to pick it off. Teams run zones to get interceptions, Billy. You're maybe increasing a couple holes. Sometimes you're going to end up guarding grass versus a person when you're playing a zone. But excuse me, you play zone to get picks. Vanderbilt to win this game. Big underdog is probably going to need some picks, but they show they got a big one at the beginning of the season. Had a bad game last week, but this definitely is a new Vanderbilt team compared to what we've seen in the past. if you're Missouri, you got to take this game seriously. So I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. I thought they just played a little bit too much zone in that, or excuse me, a little bit too much man against Georgia State. I just don't know if they have the athletes to do it. I imagine they'll try and play man as few times as they can on Saturday. Thank you as always for your time, Ryan. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for breaking it down.
Yeah, Billy, I had a blast as always. Can't wait to keep doing this with you.
Yeah, you got a score prediction for us on Saturday?
I knew you'd bring it up, Billy. I think it's going to be a closer game than we expect. I think I talked about last time. I said Missouri wasn't going to cover, but they were going to win. Almost actually got the score out, I think. I think I said it was going to be 27-14.
Yeah.
Wasn't for that busted coverage, would have had it. I think you got to think it's going to be a little bit more of a high scoring game based on the type of game Vanderbilt played in last week. I'm going to say Missouri 31. I'll give Vanderbilt. I'll give them 17, Billy. I think it's going to be an okay game.
I said
think
31 14 was my feeling. Something like 14-3, 14-6 at halftime. Never quite comfortable.
Great minds think alike. Great minds think alike.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time, Ryan. We appreciate it. We'll see you back here. Probably not next week, but maybe the week after. We'll talk maybe some Aggies. Hopefully awesome. We'll be if they play their cards right. We're breaking down some Marcel Reed film. I don't know what they're doing going back to Wegman after seeing Sell light it up on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll see, Bill. I mean, Wegman didn't look great in that Notre Dame game. I think Notre Dame did a great job defensively, but we'll see what Wegman's made of this week. You know, maybe he's a little bit on the chopping block. So we'll see.
Well, thank you guys for joining us on the film room. We'll see you next time for Billy Jones and Ryan Schmadtke. Thank you.